The following program is an LTX Enterprises production. The Falls Count Everywhere podcast would like to mention our friends at the following: the Searcher and Hide podcast. For mind-intriguing discussions about wrestling, movies, Bigfoot, aliens, and everything in between, then look no further than the Searcher and Hide podcast. You can find the Searcher and Hide podcast on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms. Go check them out today. And Outside the Ring STL. Join Shaft, Lucy, General Vader, and others who share their love for professional wrestling as they talk about the recent shows from the major wrestling companies, all independent promotions from around the St. Louis area, and even talk about great moments in St. Louis professional wrestling history. Find them on Facebook at Outside the Ring STL. Get ready for episode number 20 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast, featuring longtime wrestling technician and current SICW Classic Champion, the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz. This podcast is scheduled for one episode where Falls Count Everywhere. We thank all of you tuning into tonight's program here on the Lime Time Podcast Network. Before we officially begin, we pay honor, respect, and salute the greatest nation in the world as we play our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er that ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the
Hey guys, what's happening? It is your Thursday Night Ritual on the air, here on Facebook Live, here on YouTube, and we are excited as we are here for episode number 20 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. Thank you everybody who is watching from around the country apparently tonight. Well, I'm seeing some different hits going on. Glad that you can make it. And we're going to have an excellent time here tonight. My name is Rough Cut Rick Ruby. I am the moderator and, of course, one of the co-hosts here of this fine podcast. And on the other side is the other co-host who apparently, I don't know. I don't have nothing for you this week, Mr. GQ. You're going to have to, you're a man with no introduction, so I guess I'm not going to introduce you. So,
So you have nothing for me this week, just like how you tell your wife every week.
Oh God, here we go again.
Hold on. Let me say this, and I'm hoping I don't really mess it up though. But hola a todas, Ruby Chupa. It just said, "Hi everyone, Ruby sucks."
Okay.
As best as I could. So.
Something like that.
I think our guest this week is going to correct anything that you try to say, GQ. If you're trying to ask if I needed a chalupa, I'm like, no, thank you, I already ate. Thank you very much, I appreciate that, though. But, anyway.
Oh, you're over here, so.
Oh, my goodness. So, we're going to get the show shaking. Of course, we've got the chat room open. Of course, the YouTube stream is going. So throw your comments in the chat room. We'll definitely read them out. And, of course, we will have our listener line open here momentarily. 314-764-5540 is the number that you want to call to interact here tonight. So, but without any further ado, let's go ahead and get our featured guest on the line here, or at least, yeah, there we go. So, our featured guest here this evening has started his professional wrestling career in the year 2000. Since then, he has traveled all throughout the U.S., wrestling in over 100 promotions at least, and wrestled in 8 other countries, including Puerto Rico, working for the well-known companies WWC and IWA. You can catch him in action around the St. Louis metro area at MMWA, Dynamo Pro, and SICW, where he currently holds their Classic Championship. Falls Count Everywhere Nation, put your hands together and welcome the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz. Ricky, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for doing this with me, man. I enjoy doing this podcast.
Oh, man, yeah. So first things first, man. How are things on your spectrum as far as I hear that you've been doing some training and just trying to get loosened up because you've got something big coming up, which we will be talking about here in a couple points here this evening. So how's you shaking that ring rust going for you so far?
Well, it's been an experience. I haven't been without wrestling without being injured. I haven't been outside of the ring for so long. So getting back to it, it's an experience. It's like being new all over again. But we're back in shape. We're back doing it, and thanks to God, some shows are coming up in different areas. I've been to Tennessee, Chicago, and now we're doing some Arkansas shows. So little by little, we're getting back to normal.
Oh my goodness! Well, that's great. And another thing that's great is outside of my studio here, apparently someone had left their phone behind and the alarm is going off. So I don't know if I'm going to be in such a hurry to try and get that. So I'm going to remind, no, I'm not going to be in a hurry to get it. I don't care. Let it ring. So cool, man. Yeah. So first things first.
And the funny thing, hey, Ruby, and the funny thing, though, is working in Arkansas or Tennessee, there's like a country all on its own also there. So, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the country. That's the kind of country we're talking about, man. But so Ricky, we're going to go ahead here and kind of get into this now. Well, before we go any further with that, and I'm going to get this pulled up here because I want everybody to know about what you have coming up here because you've got some action going on here in Mount Vernon, Illinois. That will be actually about 9 days from now. That is, you're going to have your own seminar. That's going to be basically an all-day seminar, if I read that correctly. So kind of tell us a little bit about your seminar you got coming up. It looks like, I think it's the 24th on that Saturday.
Yes. October 24th is going to be from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. I try to combine how you guys make seminars here in the States with the way that we do it back home and the ones that I've taken in Mexico. And I mixed everything up and created my own. It is a special kind of seminar because it's not only getting in the ring and trying some new things and teaching new things, but it's also, there's a part that it's like a class. You literally will be taking notes and everything. And then we're going to do a part that it's for your promos and the way that you communicate to people, the messages on camera. There's a little bit about everything that has to do with wrestling. It's not only getting in the ring and taking bumps and running spots or drills. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, like you said, Saturday, October 24th, from 10 to 4 in the IWA production building, which is in 521 Perkins in Mount Vernon. I'm going to repeat that, 521 Perkins in Mount Vernon, on Saturday, October the 24th, and the cost is $35 per person. That includes lunch for that person. Since we're going to be there from 10 to 4, I'm providing lunch for the trainees.
Oh man, that is awesome. That's so. Like I said, I've got the artwork here for the seminar for those, and of course we'll push it again here a little later on in the show. But man, if you're in the area, you want to shake off that rust, an all-day seminar. I mean, not just in the ring, but addressing other aspects of the business. And for $35 for all day, guys, for where this guy has been, I mean, you cannot beat this price. And if you have still a drive and desire to do something in this business to make sure you're putting on the best performance that you can, you need to be here. So, I think it's IWA Productions.
And I will even, Ruby, I would even say though also that this is probably one of the few seminars that doesn't just worry about in the ring as much as everything else that completes that package from promos and everything else. So there's definitely a better learning experience for a lot of people there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, exactly. Goodness. I'm sorry. I'm just distracted here in the chat room as you might want to check check on the production side.
I'm contacting the producer now to make sure. So.
Okay. Right, because if we're having that same problem here, because my levels are up and everything's going out as far as I know, but we will double check. In fact, I'll double check on another browser here as well. So, all right. So now wait a minute. Now Michael Lilly just asked if he's cooking lunch. I'm sorry if I'm pretty sure that if someone had asked that, then I'm sure that someone has got to be hearing us right now. So we'll just double check on our side here, guys.
Yeah.
Rick, are you cooking lunch, man? Come on, you're doing enough as it is.
If I would cook Puerto Rican food for everybody, it would be way more than $35 for the seminar.
Probably worth it too.
Oh yeah, it definitely would be worth it. If someone had asked that, then I'm sure that. Okay, well, I just heard audio on my side, so if you can't hear it, you might want to.
Yeah, I'm fixing other issues now. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I just confirmed that. Okay. So. All right. So I'm being heard on the YouTube one, but I just heard myself on the Facebook.
Yeah, and I figured Lily's one listening to the Facebook.
Okay. So. Yep. Well, I just heard myself again. So, like I said, if all I can say,
and nobody likes that.
So, oh, Lord. Anyway, if you can't hear on Facebook, either go to the YouTube one or just close out of your Facebook app and then relaunch it again and come back into the room. But I just tested on 2 different levels and I'm good. So, but carry on. Thanks for that glitch that is not there. So appreciate that. Not. Thanks. All right. So here we go, man. So Ricky, tell us a little bit about your childhood growing up. And as far as were you actually born in the States or were you actually born outside of the U.S.?
Well, I am 100% from Puerto Rico. I was brought up in the south of the island, near to Ponce, which is one of the big cities in Puerto Rico.
Cool.
What else can I tell you? I've always liked wrestling since I've been 4 years old. I've been doing martial arts since I was 6, and I did different types of martial arts. I took some kung fu. I did hapkido, and I did taekwondo. With taekwondo, I reached to be part of the national team. And after I found a way to get into wrestling, I forgot about everything else, from sports side. I even played AA baseball, and I quit everything just to dedicate myself to wrestling.
Wow.
When I got in high school, I did a lot of acting. I actually sing. Used to. I got a scholarship, a music scholarship to go to college, and I ended up dropping everything and just dedicating myself to wrestling.
Awesome. Yeah. So I was going to also say, you know, as you were
In a nutshell.
yeah, in a nutshell, because I was going to say, what other activities or hobbies did you like to do as you were growing up? But man, that's a lot. I mean, you know, with the contact sports and everything, I mean, you got martial arts, kung fu, you know, aikido, and my God, and even being on a national team. So you say you even play baseball as well?
Yeah, I was a catcher, and I played Double A. I mean, I played when I was a kid, 11 and 12 years old. Then I stopped because I wanted to try basketball. But when I was getting out of high school, I started playing baseball again and played catcher at Double A. And I mean, as soon as I found out where to go train wrestling and who was doing what, I just left everything go and forgot about it.
Man, yeah. So 12. So I guess I'm going to well, I'm going to save the whole training aspect here for GQ here, but you say you started your interest in wrestling when you were 4. So I guess like as you were growing up, you were watching a lot of athletes down in WWC, and at least probably in WWC as you were growing up, right? Who were some of your favorite wrestlers that you were watching down as you were growing up?
Well, thank God for video stores. I was a fan of Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man. I can tell you I was a fan of almost everyone that had the Intercontinental belt from WWE, like Steamboat, Kirk Hennig, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. Like those were when I was a little older. But you know, when you talk about Flair, when you talk about Dusty Rhodes, when you talk about those were the guys that we get to see a lot of videos back home. Plus, you see Flair coming to Puerto Rico to wrestle Carlos, or Harley Race came to Puerto Rico to wrestle Carlos.
Yeah.
You know, so there were big matches when Andre came to Puerto Rico. Abdullah was always here. Bruiser Brody was always in Puerto Rico too.
Yeah.
So there was always good wrestling back home. And then I was super fan of TNT, which is Savio Vega.
Yeah.
Savio Vega was one of the biggest stars in the island when I was a kid, and he had this martial arts persona that it made him more even appealing to me.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, and I only read or I've only seen like clips of down in the WWC because there was actually a syndicate show that was on in the late 80s that would come across one of the, I don't know if it was an ABC affiliate back then, but it was Pro Wrestling This Week with Joe Pedicino and a lot of stuff that came from like Pro Wrestling Illustrated and Bill Apter. And I saw a lot of that stuff down there, and I remember seeing TNT, and I remember seeing Carlos, and I remember seeing these other guys down there. I mean, my God, there was just a lot of great syndication in this area, and they even went down to Puerto Rico in the late 80s. So a lot
it was insane because a lot of the guys that you see here, I got to see in person, like Kamala, like Ronnie Garvin, like Terry Funk, like the Bushwhackers when they were the sheep herders. And to see it live and how they wrestle in Puerto Rico, how physical and violent and like brawls, it was insane.
I know because go ahead, GQ. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, did you even have a chance to watch Brody live ever?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Brody came for the big shows. Those were expensive for me as a kid.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, man, but everything just in the late 80s because, that's why, my first show I went live was in 87, and that was in the NWA, the NWA that came up. And man, just a lot of these guys just knew how to work. I mean, my God, you mentioned Flair. I mean, gosh, you always have, did you ever? I don't think I've got this in here, but So, do you remember the first live event that you attended?
Yes, I remember. It was in Yauco, Puerto Rico. And the main event was Carlos against Bronco Numero Uno, which is an amazing wrestler from Dominican Republic. And I will tell you, I think he's the best heel I've ever seen in the world. It's just a shame that nobody has the chance to really see what he could do. But he's a mastermind when it comes to psychology and how to make people hate his guts.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what they're there to do. You know, they're there to get under the skin. And if you got somebody wanting to come at you, man, I don't know. I mean, if I,
This guy,
you know,
just to give you an example, this guy had so much heat that one time he started talking bad stuff about people in one town. And when he was wrestling in the ring, the fans actually were leaving the area and nobody understood why. And when he went to the parking lot, he found out that his car was on fire and turned upside down.
ooh, wow.
Now that's heat you cannot teach. Okay, that is heat you cannot teach.
Let's just say he was given heat, and the fans gave it right back. So.
I see what you did. That was bad.
Oh my gosh! I was getting ready to say, Ricky, to be like a true like mean heel and just like to get under everybody's skin. I don't know if I want to do that in Puerto Rico. And now you just described the reason why nobody wants to go straight out heel like that because you're and well, I don't know. If that was his personal car, I feel sorry for him. If he had, I don't know if they did rental cars back in those days, but he kind of
with the money he was making, it don't really matter.
He could have just bought. So he just probably bought it.
That's when you know you're over there too. I mean, that's when you know you're over with making money.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. GQ, I think you've got our next one.
So we'll go. I know. I got it. I know what I'm doing. So, when you started training, who were you trained by, and how long did you train before you got your first official match? And what memory stands out in your mind the most about your first match?
Wow. I trained with a couple of different people. When I started, like brand spanking new, I trained with a guy. His name was Sandy Love. He was a wrestler from Dominican Republic that had a gym in Puerto Rico, and he had a boxing ring. And he said, if you don't mind training in a boxing ring, I'll start training you. From there, I passed to train with a guy. His name was Sangre Taina. He was a big name in WWC in late 80s. And he had a ring in his house, and he had a little group of people that came out of there. From there, I met Savio, and he pointed me to the right direction to go to Super Crazy and Taka Michinoku School, which it was the IWA school. It was what they call the Kai and Tai Dojo in Puerto Rico. I trained there for like 8 months, and then they gave me my first match, and I was wrestling outside of TV for like 3 months and training at the Kai and Tai Dojo, plus going on my off days from that school to Shane Sewell school in Caguas, which he was one of the main guys in Puerto Rico, main baby faces for a long time. His name was Glamour Boy Shane. And then from there, I was wrestling already in IWA, but I was going to any school that I could go that it was different than the ones that I went, just to try to learn different stuff. So I went to a bunch of different schools. When I went to Mexico, I visited the Ultimo Dragon School. I had the opportunity to go to IWRG and get in the ring with Negro Navarro, which is an eminence when it comes to catch can wrestling. My dream match forever in life is to see that guy against William Regal. But I don't think that will never happen. And I mean, different places, different opportunities. In Panama, I'm in Panama Vampiro had one, and Trinidad and Tobago, Bronco number one, the one from Dominican Republic, teach the days that we're not wrestling. So it was. I've learned from so many people that I can't tell you I have one teacher, but the one that I spent the most time was super crazy.
Ah,
Oh, and Pablo Marquez also, who was super crazy's assistant.
awesome,
Ooh, okay.
awesome. Wow.
Pablo Marquez runs right now the biggest school in Florida other than WWE's. He owns CCW, and he has an amazing school there. So if anybody is interested in really learning, and I can help you, go there to Florida.
Yeah, awesome. So, so after getting started in the business, which wrestler or wrestlers have you looked up to for guidance and advice to help continue your guide to success?
Who did what? I'm sorry.
Which wrestler or wrestlers did you look up to for guidance and advice as you continued, throughout your success with them, with like your first couple of years in the business?
Oh well, I tried in WWF at that point. I was always looking for matches for Kurt Hennig. Kurt Hennig and Shawn Michaels and Ricky Steamboat were my three biggest influences. Now, I mean, I know there were guys that were, being the main event and whatnot, but the way those guys worked was what really, the way of selling from Kurt Hennig and Shawn Michaels. It's by far the best ones that I've seen in years. Ricky Steamboat is the biggest babyface in history, I think. Like, I there's no one to compare to him in my eyes.
Yeah.
And then I always look up to, even when I was already years in the business, I always look up to Eddie Guerrero. Because those guys have more or less the same style and they're very complete package, right? But in Puerto Rico, Savio Vega in TNT, he's like the same thing, but the Latin version of it. He's an amazing worker. The psychology, the way that he controlled the crowd. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to meet him and to work with him and under him for so long in IWA.
Oh, awesome. So we're going to kind of want to segue back to as we were talking about, with your seminar coming up. And the next question kind of revolves around that. But how would you compare the contrast of training techniques and discipline between the wrestling training schools in the U.S. and the Lucha Libre training schools down either in Puerto Rico or wherever else they do Lucha Libre at?
Well, in Puerto Rico, it's a mixture of everything because we have wrestlers that come from all over. So they want you to understand a little bit of Mexican style, a little bit of a Japanese strong style, and then the American style, right? In Mexico is the toughest place to learn wrestling. And when I tell you it's tough, you have no idea. Like the regimen these wrestlers go through, the training, the warm-ups that they do, plus, these rings in Mexico are so hard compared to the ones that we use in the States, or like they literally have rings that are platforms in the arenas. These rings don't move; like they stay there. They're like a platform that they put a mat and some the canvas and whatnot. So some of these are not even wood. So it's very different. And then in Mexico, when you go to take the test to get a wrestling license, you literally go and you have to go through the grinder for them to give you a license. It's not just go sign the papers and that's it. There's actually a video on YouTube that talks about Latin wrestling, and they show part of an exam to be a wrestler.
Wow.
I'm kind of
in the
curious
States,
to look that one up, actually.
And then in the States, it's more, yes, you learn what wrestling and the part of the entertainment and whatnot, but I see that in a lot of the schools, they do a lot of more conditioning than teaching wrestling per se at the beginning of the class. Then by the time they're going to learn more wrestling, they're super tired.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's
Don't get me wrong; it's important, but I go to a class to learn, not to. I mean, that your conditioning should be your ring time, not class.
right. Exactly.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and maybe even some guys that actually come to the business, they feel that they're athletic enough, but maybe they don't know any other additional techniques or exercises they can do, but they need to learn that and kind of work on that on their own before even coming to the schools. And then when you get to the school, kind of, do a little stretch, warm up, or whatever, and then get down to the lesson plan, as they would so say, and start learning what you can do and apply that. But yeah, conditioning. Man, I just that's why some of these guys that get in these schools and we want to just kind of alliterate that anybody that tries to get in, I mean, you gotta know when to go, and you've gotta, when it's go time, it's go time. You can't stop. You got to keep pushing, and you got to make sure that you're ready for that. And I bet you probably Mexico will put you through the mill on that. So
I mean,
Well, that's it. Go ahead.
I give props to whoever go to school to learn. I respect those guys more than the ones that just want to show to the shows and say, I'm a wrestler.
yeah, exactly. And
But that's the thing, though, too. Is like there's so many, as Ruby has coined the term and try to trademark it, the term spot monkey, to where they go out there, they can do so many stuff in 5 minutes, but they can't go a match beyond that because they don't have the conditioning to keep going, to push on and everything like that, or to even keep the crowd entertained beyond all the stuff that they do.
Yeah. Well, I say that, and I honestly I do, but to me, and it's like you won't catch me flipping with a guy my size, though. I'm all about psychology and using the using my size to my advantage in doing moves that I know that I can do that make sense, at least to me. So I mean that's just me. I'm not.
Well, that and gravity just has so much that it can give for you. So.
Gravity's wonderful. Thank God for gravity. So. So Ricky, what are some of the notable names that you've worked with throughout your career, and who is your favorite notable name to wrestle or work with?
Oh my God, my favorite would be in Puerto Rico. It would be El Mesías, which is Mil Muertes in Lucha Underground.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay.
That would be my first, my that I enjoy the most in Puerto Rico to work. And then obviously when I had to do matches with Shane the Glamour Boy, or Savio, those were big for me. But we had the opportunity to work a lot of guys, even from Impact, from TNA at that point, that were brought out. The American Outlaws, Pete Williams, Abyss. And then from WWE, that when they get out of the contract, they start going all places. So I had the opportunity to work a lot of them. But biggest for me usually were the ones that were big when I was growing up and I wanted to see them wrestle, right? So like Shane the Glamour Boy and Savio were like the biggest ones for me to be in the ring with. I even got in the ring with Invader 1. Who else? Invader 3 helped me training too. And he was a big name, not only in Puerto Rico, but he worked tag teams with Andre the Giant in WWF with another name. And, meeting Jose Estrada, which he was in WWF, and meeting Jose Luis Rivera, who was one of the conquistadors. I've been lucky. I've been lucky because a lot of the big names helped me when I started. Cheeky Star was Carlos Colon. having their coaching was great.
Oh man, yeah, man. I imagine, yeah. So,
Well, with a lot of that, though, what would you consider either locally or everywhere that like your greatest feud storyline that you've been involved with personally?
you might want to repeat that, GQ. You did
Well,
cut in and out a little bit. I don't know. I'm sorry. Did I
yeah, for
interrupt? Sorry.
Let's try this one more time here because the telephone sucks apparently. So, who would you say would be your greatest feud or storyline that you've been involved with personally?
Ah, man, like I said, it depends on where. Like in Puerto Rico will be Mil Muertes. In the States, I think Ron Powers or Jake Durkin will be the biggest feuds here in the area, right? In Chicago was with Noriega, which he was my tag partner for a long time, and then we wrestled each other to the point that I lost a hair match and I had to cut my hair. But then we did a career match, and he lost his career to me. He can't wrestle there anymore, so it depends on where.
Oh yeah. Well, I know, and there's some. I mean, I know you've worked with quite a few names. It's kind of hard to narrow down. But one thing I will say though, there was a match that at least I saw pictures of. I don't know if I saw actual footage of the match. I don't know if it was even recorded. But it was you in SICW with Attila Khan. And that match was, I mean, oh my God. I could have swore it was like something out of the country with so much bloodshed that was going on there. My God, that was such a brutal match that you guys had there.
Attila is one of the toughest guys that I've faced in the States. I didn't mention him in the whole feud because we haven't had that many matches, right? We've only had 2 one-on-one matches, and the last match it got gory. We both bled a lot, and a lot of people loved it, and a lot of people got sick from it and left the building. But we had really good feedback when it comes of the actual match, and we even have feedback from like legends. I read a message that Haku sent about the match and how he liked it. It's I would love to have a whole program with him for a year and be able to wrestle him and do whatever. But he has his places to be, and I have mine, and sometimes we just can't be in the same place at the same time.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, but one of the best managers around, though, Travis Cook, has even brought Attila trying to chase after you, including down there working with Bert Prentice and everything. And what happened when you guys kind of ran into each other down there recently?
Well, he interfered in one of my matches. After I win my match, he came and attacked me, and attacked me from behind and put me in that hole that he does. And we haven't seen each other since then. I haven't had the opportunity to face him face to face again after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah. Well, with USA Championship Wrestling, that's another good promotion that's down there out of Tennessee, and who knows, maybe you guys will cross paths again down there again. But I'm just waiting for things to just kind of pick up a little bit more around here. I know in some some spots in Illinois they are kind of going or getting a little bit. They're trying to get going. Just kind of have to kind of work with the regulations and what they're asking for, and you just got to throw your precautions. So hopefully SICW would want to get started again. So kind of.
Well, he's besides Attila though. He also has the Butcher Daniel Blade trying to chase after him though too. apparently there's a big target on Ricky Cruz's back that a lot of people are trying to collect on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm sorry. The Butcher ended up going to Chicago, and he asked for a match with me. At least he did the right thing and asked for a match, right? Instead of attacking me from behind. But he asked for the match. We had the match, and he was beaten. He right away went to Facebook and went to social media trying to make excuses and to get another match. So we'll see if the the owners of the company will give him another shot. I'm always willing. I always say, let's do it. So either there or IWA or wherever, the promoters just have to tell me who am I facing and I'll be there.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the Butcher might even show up at the IWA production show on the 24th. You never know what happens there. So he might be begging for another rematch.
You mean the seminar?
Yeah, the seminar, right?
Oh, he can show up. I need a guinea pig to show some moves to those students.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Oh man!
And that's when you know you're good, when you can get away with saying that. So
right. Well, if he hears this, I'm sure he's going to be kind of reaching out to you somehow on Facebook. But switching gears, just switching to a different gear here real quick. Can you tell us one unknown fact about you that your fan base or anyone else in the wrestling business would never know? I mean, it could be anything.
used to do musicals, and I even sing in 2 Disney musicals, which it was Hercules and Aladdin.
Oh wow!
That's a fun fact that nobody knows.
Wow! So you're in musical productions?
Well, I wasn't like literally theater musicals. Like I did those in Spanish, Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
wow.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I guess no one.
I gotta do it. Hold on, I gotta do it though. So can you sing a verse from one of those now?
No. No.
Wow.
And he beat me on my own game there. I like how he did that.
He didn't cave in. He was like, nope, you ain't going to get it. Nice. Wow. So
I think the last time I actually sang for real was in Mexico, because they took a mariachi group to one of the shows, and we sing for a fan who, like a loyal fan that goes to every show. We sing for her birthday, but that's about it. I haven't sing anymore since I was 28, 29. So it's been a while.
Goodness. I mean, you
almost got him. Almost got him.
Oh. I was going to say, man, you don't even go out and do karaoke? Have a little tequila and feel a little good and feel a little brave, get on the mic? We know people that do that.
We know people that shouldn't do that also, Ruby, so...
I know. We've both seen firsthand.
So, Michael Lilly saying something about fighting PYT?
Oh, he wants to see you two in a match again with PYT talking trash outside. I guess he's referring to Playboy Double H, who is the leader of that group. And
okay,
I know you recently had just known of Playboy Double H, and
yes.
So I don't know. I don't know how that match could happen, but I guess maybe it could.
I got the opportunity to go to the WPW show this past weekend. I was going to meet some friends there, and had a good time. Saw a couple of the matches and met some of the wrestlers that I haven't in the area. And yes, I did see this group. Um, I mean, pretty entertaining stuff. Let's put it that way.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and oh yeah. By the way, just want to send a congratulations out to our guest who was on here 2 weeks ago, Reed Rain, who apparently picked up their heavyweight title in that fatal four-way. And I guess Playboy was expecting to get it, but I guess other plans prevailed, and Reed Rain is their new heavyweight champion. So good, awesome to see that, and. I guess looked like a good atmosphere. I guess everybody was safe with the outdoor show, and yeah. So hopefully, we're looking to see more with WPW probably in the coming. I guess in about next month or two, they've got some things going on. So hopefully, wish them well, and who knows? Maybe I might be available. My dreaded schedule has me on Saturdays to work. If I didn't have to work, I would have been there. Would I wrestled? I don't know, but that's another story. But come November, oh my God, are you backwards again? You are backwards. I think you are. I'm talking about his camera angle. I keep throwing off his camera angle back and
I
forth.
see him straight.
You what? You what now?
Yep.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Type that in the Google Translator when you see it later, Ruby. You'll know.
Nah, I don't know. I can use.
Anyway, go on to the question.
Yeah, I know. He's calling me a name in Spanish probably, and I don't want to even find out what the hell he called me. But anyway, so is there one match that stands out to you? And I know, like I said, we're talking over a span of 20 years here that you've been in the business. But is there one match that stands out to you to be your most memorable one ever that you were involved in?
There's two big ones. The number one contender for the IWA belt in Puerto Rico was with Mil Muertes, and he was like a major name at that time in Puerto Rico. So for me to beat him was a big thing. And then when I actually got the opportunity to wrestle for the IWA belt, was a big thing because months before that, I was going to wrestle in a ladder match for that belt, and I literally broke my knee.
Oh.
So it didn't happen. So when I came back and had to start all over to get to that point again, and we did a special kind of match, which there's 4 poles on each post, right? 4 poles, and each pole has a briefcase. And in one of the briefcase is the belt, but in the other briefcase there's actually explosives. So the match is pretty interesting, and we got to do it, and I loved it. In Puerto Rico, those are my biggest ones. And here in the States, we'll have to say the first time that I won the SICW belt, beating Ron Powers and getting the belt from one of the legends.
Oh yeah.
From Gerald Briscoe. It was insane.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's awesome. In fact, Hope, who is also who attends the SICW shows regularly, remembers the match where you got to play barber cutting Curtis Wild's hair after you retained your title, and sent him packing with shaving the long gray mare hair, I guess, because he ain't what he used to be. Still trying to grow it out, apparently. So that was, I guess, some memorable fans. Some of the fans remember some other matches. Like I say, you had quite a bit. One thing I remember, last year, and I wanted to bring up, is at one point you had, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had 3 heavyweight championships at one time in this area, with Dynamo Pro, MMWA, and SICW.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I was like, man, this guy's busy. I mean, how in the world is he finding
Well, the
time?
other one looks like. Did you also hold the MWR Missouri title?
Well, that picture that you have on was not last year. That was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm sorry, and I was the yes. So let me think, because the first one that you see in the picture is the GWF. It was in Kansas. The Missouri Heavyweight Championship, the King of the Ring from Mexico, and then the Dynamo Pro Heavyweight Champion. At that point, I had all those.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and the Gali Lucha from Mexico, from Chicago. I had at that point from that picture that you have.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think I might have had that up previously. So yeah. Yeah, but holding all that hardware, man, that's pretty cool to have. When I see this, I'm thinking of myself, back in the like around 95 or what was it, 96 when Ultimo Dragon was in WCW, and I'm like, man, were those 9 belts really from federations that he won it from? Because it looked like a bunch of blank belts. I don't know if he really had like 9 titles in one time, and I think that, to me, I think that was still type of a gimmick. But I know at least here we know, where those titles are, and man, my goodness, it's nice carrying all that.
Well, when you go to Mexico, it is doable because in Mexico there's literally shows every day of the week, and there's 2 shows Saturday and 2 shows Sunday. So if you literally are good enough and you're working every single day, you can actually be a champion in quite a bit of different companies.
Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is very. I know it's possible here. Because
and it is one of the richest heritage of wrestling in that area as well, though, too. So it's definitely a good honor to ever get the chance to work there.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So like I said, 9 countries in total is where you wrestled here. It says here in that you also had time with Japan. Kind of tell us a little bit about your time with Japan, and and how long were you there?
Not long. It was just like 8 days, 9 days. I was invited by Bison Smith.
Okay.
May God rest his soul. He was an amazing guy. But I wasn't there for long. I did like 3 shows. That was it. And for me, how can I explain it? Yes, it's strong style. It's their training is way harder than over here, and I don't really say much about it because I try to not participate in it. But I over there, what I like is their temples, their culture, everything that had to do. Plus, I was a martial artist, so I was just like in awe with the culture. I would love to go again, but not even wrestling related. I would just love to be there for a month, just visiting different places. It's an amazing place.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely one of my goals to do as well. I would love to go out there with the rich cultures that they have there, plus the wrestling and everything like that, plus the steakhouse that I want to try out there. So,
Riviera.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So yeah, because I mean, Dominican Republic, Trinidad, Tobago, Panama, of course, Mexico, Totala, and like I said, Japan and the U.S. Man, just going.
I'll tell you this. If you want to go to a place that wrestling is like literally like the 70s, the 80s, that it's like full blown legit for everybody. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's Trinidad and Tobago. They they take it to another level when it comes to how serious it is for them.
Oh goodness, yeah. Because I always want to, because I mean, when I think about whenever I started in the business, I'm like, man, if I could have started in any era, I would have loved to get started like in the late 70s, early 80s, when they were still doing territories, because I would love to do the territories back in that time frame, because I mean, we're talking Memphis, we're talking Mid-Atlantic, of course. And you know me, I'm just a guy in the U.S. and I have not left the country, much less if I don't know, I haven't even been to really the West Coast that well. So, I mean, getting the emotion and people getting behind that. I mean, that's really my goal, that I want to get people. Definitely want to get people involved. That's for darn sure. Connect with the audience. That's the most important thing, and that's what I always preach every time. Connect with your audience. Don't go out there and do your spots and then just leave. Make them feel connected. As we're talking here, hold on 1 second here. I gotta check a couple things here, cause oh my goodness. Okay, GQ's having trouble again. Oh my goodness.
Your partner.
I don't even want to hear it. When high class stuff tries to connect to low class, like your stuff, Rippy, it just happens.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I'm getting word that the Gremlins are coming back. I hope not. I'm gonna have to check for myself too.
I can't hear. I can hear him. I can't see him.
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, that's probably a good thing, because not everybody can stand this much sexiness in their life. So, I mean, not seeing you is okay.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my
And we're going to fix that instead of trying to reconnect the camera and have the issues and everything. We're just going to go straight to the picture of what I do best.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that the feed is still good here. Hold on.
Yeah, apparently it is from our producer, so.
All right. Thank you, producer. Gosh, I have to check for myself. Yep. Okay. So yeah, so it's good. Now the thing is, I gotta go find a decent picture of you.
Every picture's decent to me.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I gotta see which one that I would prefer. I mean, I gotta ask the blind audience of which they prefer. So I think I might show you. Can't repeat my screen. Yeah, so yeah, you're on the black screen. Yeah. Go ahead and play the Jeopardy theme here for you, GQ, as I try to find something.
No, you're fine.
Go on.
Were you done with the last question, since I lost some of that? Were you done with the last question? Go on the next one while you're doing that?
You can go and skip to yours, and I can come back to mine here as I'm getting this figured out.
Okay. So has there ever been an unplanned or botched event that you would consider your most embarrassing moment?
No. I've been lucky not to have embarrassing moments. I have difficult moments. I have we were doing a tag team match, and one of the guys took like 5 monsters before getting in the ring because he was nervous. We were in front of a large crowd, like 16 to 20,000, something like that. And he ended up having a major heart attack and passing in the show.
Oh wow!
So that was a very difficult situation. Not only when it happened, but in the locker room trying to help to try to bring him back, and we couldn't. But other than that, I've been lucky. I haven't never been embarrassed in the ring yet.
Yet. Yeah, and trust me, it's probably going to be it's going to be somebody's on somebody's list to try and get you to break character. I guess we would all say.
That's the good thing. That's the good thing with me. There's no character. Like really, Ricky Cruz is Ricky Cruz. There's no character at all. Whatever you see, good or bad, it's me 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll give credit where credit is due on this, is the fact that you can actually say after 20 years in the business, not one embarrassing moment. Everybody's had at least 1 to 2, even half of that time frame when they're first starting out or anything like that. But for you to say that, it actually says a lot about your talent alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate it, but I think I've just been lucky.
He's just been lucky.
You said it, I didn't.
Yeah. Hey, you know, well, let's see here. So, now, well, we'll talk about unplanned, though. I know you said you had like a, you know, like you had a broken knee, right, before one of your biggest matches that you
Yes.
had. So, was there any other injury that you had to overcome other than that?
Oh my God! You got time?
Oh, we got time, actually,
Uh,
yeah.
I had reconstruction on my right knee. I had my ankle. I mean, it wasn't broken, but it was dislocated, so that was an injury. Um, um, my groin muscle to my right leg and my lower abdomen were completely torn out on my tryout with WWE.
Oh,
Ow,
man.
ow, ow,
Bunch of like 3 or 4 concussions. One really big one that I even had amnesia when it happened.
Oh, man.
Um, in my neck, which is has I can't remember which one it is. One of my vertebrae is all messed up. But other than that, it's been great. Dislocated shoulders and stuff like that, but nothing that I consider major.
Oh, nothing considered major? Oh, my gosh.
Well, how many, if you had to take a guess, because most, like around here, most everybody just works weekends, maybe twice a week or whatever. How many matches do you think you've had in the 20 years that you've been around?
When there was one time when Espinosa was big on mentioning all the time how many matches he's had, and it made me curious about me, and I started doing the math. I should be over 3,000 already
Oh, yeah.
because I know that my first years I was working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then when I went to Mexico, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, twice on Sunday. Plus in Trinidad and Tobago, it was like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Like it's quite a bit over. I would say close to 3,000 or over 3,000.
Man. Wow. Let's see.
And that's not a resume that anybody could ever scoff at or think, oh, that's nothing or anything like that. That is a major accomplishment right there, especially with, you may not think it's few injuries, but with all of that time during the 20 years, you still have had fewer injuries and maybe, well, okay, except for the groin one, not so serious as ones during that whole time. So that shows a little bit of how much you learn and how valuable your seminar is definitely going to be for a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Well, I truly tell everybody that when they start or when they're training or when I see them, is that the more you train and the more you keep yourself, in shape, in ring shape, because it's not about being lean and cut and this and that. It's about being in the ring and stretching and stuff like that. It will keep you healthy way longer than someone that doesn't. Because the reality of it and what Savio always told me is like, you got to remember, your body's not made for this. Your body was not made to be taking bumps on the floor or in the ring or getting hit with chairs or none of the abuse that we put it through, right? So the more you train it and the more you keep it in shape, it's the longer you're going to not only wrestle, but be healthy per se, not even in wrestling, but in life.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, what is the what would you say is the largest crowd that you have because going all over, what was the largest crowd that you ever wrestled in front of that you can remember?
22,000.
Oh man. 22,000.
In Puerto Rico, in the in Puerto Rico.
Wow, my goodness. A stadium, I would assume.
Uh, yeah, 20 to 22, yeah, something like that. Yes.
Wow, goodness gracious. That is a lot. I'll tell you. Shoot. Shoot,
It was
that's
good
I've
times. I
done
hope wrestling goes back to that. I'm telling you.
I've done maybe 5% of that. So yeah, and I agree. I hope a lot it will change, and that's been the worst thing about this year. I know so many people that have said, "Hey, I have the most bookings at all for this year," and then COVID decided to say, "No, you don't. You're done for the year at least a little bit," and it just sucks so much.
That is completely true. I had over 40 bookings for this year, and everything went to wash. Like
right.
everything got canceled.
Oh my goodness. Um. So so when you're not involved with wrestling, what brings you the greatest joy outside of the ring?
Well, everybody that knows me knows that my joy is my sons, my two kids. I have a 19-year-old which is in Texas now, doing his thing and going to college and whatnot, and I have a 3-year-old that when my other kid was little, I was always spending as much time as I could with him, but I was traveling so much with wrestling that that we didn't have that much stuff to do that wasn't wrestling related, right? With this 3-year-old, I try to do way more, and not only everybody knows him at the shows, but we try to do other wrestling non-related stuff with him. I don't want him to get too attached to the business.
Ah, yeah. Well, I guess that pretty much leads into the question, because I was going to ask you, would you want, even if your son had a strong desire wanting to get into the business, would you encourage it, or would you do everything you could to kind of distract them to go into another direction? Because, I mean, I know if my kids, would ever want to either, granted, they're all girls anyway, and Lord knows, if if you get into be a women's wrestler, you can make something well of yourself, but you've got to kind of watch where you go and who you're with. You want to make sure you go somewhere reputable and someone who's going to respect the business and respect you. But
Yeah.
yeah, but if your son was, just absolutely, it's like, Dad, I have to do this. I want to do this. What would you tell him?
Well, the same thing that I told the older one. You go to school, you get good grades, you have something to fall back on, and then I'll train you myself.
There you go. And, of course, I didn't follow those rules. I thought, because I was as dead said, like, hey, listen, I'm going to be a pro wrestler, and that's it, and I'll work these other jobs until I can become a pro wrestler. And, well, we all see how that.
Well, my mom hates it. My mom hates it until somebody asks her, like, "Oh, is he your son?" And then she's all proud and whatnot. But my mom hates it. All my life, she has told me, like, I kept you from banging your face and looking pretty and singing and taking all these classes for acting and everything, and now you just want to get beat up all the time. So, yeah, my parents weren't on board when I started on wrestling. But then, when they started seeing me on TV and that I was taking it seriously and traveling and whatnot, then they started supporting it. But at the beginning, they hated it.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. No, God love my parents. They let me watch. They let me watch wrestling and everything else growing up, and then when they saw I was pretty serious about wanting to get in and start training, they couldn't even hardly, attend any shows because they were too attached to me and they would think that I was really, really getting hurt. And even though I would walk fine just the next day, but of course this is me, 21, 22, still full of, still full of vigor and I could take a beating, just as well as I could, and just bounce back the next day. But
Well, Ruby, also the fact that they knew you weren't pretty to begin with, so they thought maybe it might have been an improvement if they got hit in the face.
here we go again, Jesus. Here we go, God. Ooh. All right, GQ. Yeah, well, everybody knows that, the definition of sexy, and of course, if you were that sexy, you wouldn't have broke your camera, and there I had to keep putting a still shot of you up here on our screen here with you just lounging in the ring. So,
That's what I'm doing here. I mean, so just use a still picture.
I don't think you want to look at the audience. So, oh well, we're gonna move on. So going back to. Where was I at? Oh, I know where I was at. Never mind. So, on your shirts that you had, or at least one of the shirts that that you've been wearing for like a long time, at least within the last couple of years, the King of Chaos shirt, you had like a timeline that said 2000 to 2016, but with an X in it. So, am I to say that did you retire in 2016 at one point?
I thought that I was gonna have to retire because of my neck, and I was literally in pain all through 2016. I was in pain all the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep. Like I was getting my arms numb. It was very frustrating and painful all the time. So there was a certain point that I said, okay, I'm done, and I stopped wrestling for, I don't know, like 16, 18 months, 2 years. And then I came back to SICW, and I was doing commentary with Larry. And after the shows and before the shows, I started taking bumps and seeing how I felt and just, getting the itch.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And then I just came back to wrestle.
Yeah, so for as long as you had done, performed in the business, I guess it was just kind of hard to sit on the sideline and, you wanted to get your way back into it. So is it pretty much watching everybody else doing it and thinking that, well, it pretty much got you going saying, well, I got to do this again. I just can't say it's over, pretty much the Yogi Berra here in the U.S. where they say it's not over till it's over. So, when you came back, obviously you had to kind of do some light training to kind of make sure that you were good to go, right?
Oh, no. There was nothing light about it. Like, I keep myself to a high standards when it comes to, like, I didn't want people to just go like, oh, he ain't the same. Like, I went and pulled Keith Smith Jr. and started training with him, and I asked some of the guys to come and help me out to train. I ended up going to the Dynamo school for a bit, and got in the ring with Outlaw and with other people, and until one day I made other person record, and I did a spot with Outlaw. And I wanted to see how it looked, and it looked great. And I'm going like, okay, let's start, and started making calls, and called Chicago, called Kansas, called everywhere, and got back into it.
Wow, good. Well, good. Yeah. So I guess it was definitely more intense. So that's good though. I mean, I guess you want to make sure you're putting yourself through the mill, to make sure that you are able to. Handle the type of caliber of match that you want to or that you used to do, and not. You just want to make sure that you're putting yourself through the grind. And then getting back up and doing it again, you'll be able to, get onto your next, next booking. Making sure that everything was good good to go for you. So, well, that's good. I mean, I guess for those who truly love the business, it's. I mean, we're always going to be in it until we're done, pretty much here on Earth, because it's like it's going to be hard to even walk away from the business, that you've been involved with so many years, especially with 20 years for you, pretty much, and we just get to just walk away from it, would be just. I really don't know what I would think if someone just walked away and they didn't want nothing to do with wrestling again. I mean, because something would have had to happen. But
when someone does that, they didn't really love the business. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's true. Or something. I mean, something had to happen to where they change it and they just they don't want to deal with it no more. So. Out of all the time that you've been involved with professional wrestling inside and outside of the ring, is there any moment or accolade that you would consider as your greatest achievement?
Oh, pretty big for me being they call it the San Luis metropolitan area. So being the champion on Dynamo, on SICW, and on MMWA was a big thing for me because, I had the 3 belts that mean a lot in this area. And the other big one in Mexico, I'm the only foreigner that has won the King of the Ring twice and defended in other countries. And plus, I think there's 3 people that have wrestled in the same week in the 3 major companies in Mexico, which is CMLL, AAA, and IWRG in 1 week.
Wow. Well, as much as you have done, as far as all of your accomplishments, what you've done here, as far as what you've contributed, I would think that somewhere, at least in of course, my opinion may not hold water to anybody else, but I would say that somewhere along the lane, somewhere should have there should be a Hall of Fame somewhere that should be inducting you, because of all that you're putting in, the passion that you have, the attitude that you have, always giving back. So for you not being in the Hall of Fame yet. If it's not happening soon, it will definitely be happening down the road, because with
100% deserving of that accolade for you, Ricky.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah. So because places you've been and everything else, I would even say St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame and Midwest Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, I would think. Those 2 at least. And if there's any other Wrestling Hall of Fame that that you've been even, I'm trying to think if there's GQ, help me out. Is there anywhere like in the state of Missouri, like is there like a Missouri Wrestling Hall of Fame? Not we know that there probably is, for like mat wrestling,
I think there's a Missouri Hall of Fame for a lot of different sports and stuff, and I think very few wrestlers have been put into it, but nothing like the Midwest Independent or the St. Louis one.
Oh, gotcha. Wow. But yeah, definitely something that I would, shoot, if they have my opinion, if I had to choose, I would say you go in first ballot if there is any type of eligibility. So, but GQ has our next question, and before we get that started, we've had some of those in the chat room. There might be some others that have shared this feed and are listening in. We've got, I should have pointed out earlier in the show, but we do have our listener line here, 314-764-5540. If you got a comment, or if you even got a question for Ricky, we still have those lines open. So go ahead and give that a ring if you got something I mean, if you want to talk to Ricky for anything, so GQ.
Well,
Yeah.
while you get people on the line, let me tell you this. I just received a message from IWA Productions. Literally, I just received it. Their next show will be November the 28th. It's going to be an inside show. Temperature checks and marks will be required. Floor seats will be $10. Bleachers will be going to be $5. Doors will open at 6 p.m. and bell time at 7 p.m. So, finally we get to do a wrestling show inside. So November the 28th, I hope to see everyone that's itching to see wrestling to come by and enjoy the show.
Wow. And interesting if everybody's paying attention to the calendars, because November 28th is way after a certain event that happens early in the month of November, which I'm talking about is the election. So I'm just saying, I've got my theories on it, but I'm just going to leave it at that. But it's good though that they are getting back inside shows with IWA. So, I'm sorry, GQ. Sorry to keep pushing you off again, but I wanted to ask though.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I know that I think there is also like a show that is, on this seminar here, which I'm going to display again because everybody needs to know and needs to get here. Is there actually going to be a show that night outside here after the seminar?
Well, yes, there is a show. It's an all-girl show, and it's not outside. It's inside. The show will be inside in the IWA Productions building.
Oh, okay. So it is. So, but it's a girls-only show. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because the girl fight. Yeah. So, so that's pretty cool. So, all right, awesome. So but IWA Productions' next show is November 28th. So
November 28th is their next actual show. On October the 24th will be my seminar, and then at that night they have a all girls show right there in the IWA Productions building, which is 521 Perkins and Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Yeah, and remember, all-day seminar here, 6 hours long with the break for lunch in between, and no, Ricky Cruz will not be cooking lunch for you. So, Michael Lilly, just forget about that now, okay? Just get it out. $35, like I said, you can't beat. Like I said, I mean, you've heard of all what Ricky's been through here on this, throughout his career. What his accomplishments have been, I mean, where he's been and what he's done. $35 is a steal for an all-day seminar targeting a lot of things and aspects in the business. So if you're missing that, then you're truly missing out. So, okay, so GQ, I think I'm going to shut up here for just a moment and go ahead and present with your question, sir.
Lord, that's been my wish for years that I've known you and all that for you to shut up for once. But so of course he always sticks me with this one. But what are some memorable road stories in wrestling that you can share with us?
Oh man, that I can share? That's the hard part.
Yeah, so you can share.
Yeah.
Man, that I can share. This will probably be a funny one. Maybe not, but this is one of the ones that came to mind. So I went to 3XW, which is in Iowa, and what's the town in Iowa? I can't remember, but anyway, what's in Iowa? And it was in the car. It was me, Durton, Jake Parnell, and there was another guy, but I can't remember the name. Gallagher is his name. So we finished the match. We're driving back and whatnot, and we stop at Denny's. And these three ladies come in, and they're like freaking out and started screaming and make a big deal and whatnot, and they wanted to take pictures and whatnot, and we thought that they knew us from wrestling. Well, no, they thought that we were part of a rock band that they knew. Apparently, they don't know them that well, and they literally said that I was a singer, that Burton was the guy in the bass and whatnot. They literally said the whole gimmick with the band and whatnot, and I can't remember the name of the band that they said. Well, the thing was that at the end of the night, they even paid for our bill and everything.
Oh my gosh!
So that was a good night.
That's when you know the player game and you don't have to do much with it. So,
did they come up to you for autographs?
Yes.
I'm just more talking about paying for the meal and everything, and they didn't have to say one way or the other if they were the band or not, and it just left, and no one was the wiser.
Oh, they were pretty drunk, so we didn't want it to upset them. So I just said, "Hey, how are you? Hey, you want a picture? Okay, yeah, no problem." That was about it.
The next day they're looking like that is like, who the hell is that now?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Yep.
Oh my god, that is too funny. So I don't know. I guess you had to have your hair back then to be.
Oh yes.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny. Because when you hear Iowa and you hear Denny's, you're like, oh boy, that could be anything. Because
hell, just Denny's alone, I know so many stories that involve that. So
Des Moines, Iowa. That was the place.
oh my gosh, yeah, Des Moines. I think the craziest Denny's story we've had on here is was it Alfonso or GQ that that said something about Marty Jannetty that was doing like forward rolls and
yep,
he moved tables to do like forward rolls in the freaking Denny's dining room. It was crazy. Wow. Jannetty's one of a kind, I'll tell you, on that. So my goodness. Well, I guess I don't know if anyone. I was trying to see if anybody in the chat rooms, or at least in our chat room, I haven't seen anything here. But
no, just Michael Lilly still wanted Ricky to cook him and Brooke lunch at least. So
yeah, okay. Well, then that'll be an extra $20. That'll be an extra $30 on top of that because it's food, it's labor, it's rent, getting the grill, no, but he won't do it. He won't do it. Uh-oh. I spoke too soon. Here we go. All right, you got the False Count Everywhere podcast. Who's this?
No, just Michael Lilly still wanted Ricky to cook him and Brooke. Hey. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Lily. Yeah, Ricky's still not going to cook you lunch. What do you want?
Ricky needs me cooking me lunch.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I got plans of going down there and seeing it. Here we go.
Well, I mean, if hey, turn your radio down for a second, will you?
Do what?
Yeah.
Let me turn my speaker off. One more.
Okay.
Oh.
Are you going to be there? I'm like hearing myself like 20 seconds.
Oh, I had other noises I had to shut off. So he's not going to cook my lunch?
No, he's not going to cook you lunch. But what will Ricky do for Michael Lilly, though? That's the question.
Kick his ass.
That means I have to go to Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, if he's not going to cook me lunch, I have to go to Chick-fil-A.
Well, I mean, it is a Saturday. It is Saturday, so at least they will be open. He's going to provide lunch there, Lily. So come on down, attend the seminar, and enjoy a good girl fight production. And who knows?
Yeah, because I know Brooke will like the girl show. That's a good time for her to learn some more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
I'm just going to sit back and I'm not going to do no physical stuff. I just want to go to the seminar and learn some more.
yeah, that's definitely yeah. Even referees can learn something, right, Ricky? All the time.
Anybody that is part of the business can benefit from the seminar because, like I said, there's a part that it's a class. So it don't matter if you're a manager, a referee, whoever. It would actually be a good thing to be a part of that class. Now I don't know if you want to be part of the physical part, but at least from the class part, he'll enjoy.
No, the rest of it, no physical stuff for me.
Yeah. So Ricky, Lily will need to know how to count to 3 again. So $35 up front there, Lily. That's
that's cold, Ruby.
You have to count the 3 12 times. In order to make it. So I'm just joking. I'm just joking, man.
I know. I'll pay you for saying that.
Yeah, you ain't getting my fine either. So
hey, you still owe me that fine.
Yeah, well, it's not coming. So hold your breath. It may, if you hold your breath long enough, it just may come. So. All right.
All right.
All
Y'all
right.
have a good one. It was good to see you last weekend, Ricky. I'm not going to tell Ruby it's good to see him.
I'll see you at the seminar.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah. All right. See y'all then. Bye.
See ya. That was a nightmare listening to myself over a feed. Oh, my goodness. God, I love him.
Now you know how I feel each week.
Yeah, but that's on a delay, though. That's even more. I mean, I definitely don't play the shows to hear myself. I mean, only for quality purposes, but I don't go in bed like, oh, my God, that's like the greatest voice I ever heard in my life. I never do that.
Well, I know you say that about me, but still.
No, I listen to you when I want to go to sleep. But it's like a lullaby. Oh, well, awesome here. So, all right, yeah, man. Once again, I want to put this up as usual. In fact, we'll put it up again in a couple days here. But most importantly, Ricky Cruz's wrestling seminar starting at 10 a.m. going to 4 p.m. for IWA Productions, 521 Perkins in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Cost is $35. There will be a break for lunch. Lunch will be provided. So a lot of aspects to learn in the business, and you just prepare to have yourself a good time, and stay after, and support the whole support the Girl Fight show, because Girl Fight, though, from what I've seen them like up in Jeffersonville, Indiana. I've seen them down in Florida and everything else. I don't think I've ever seen a Girl Fight production come this close to the St. Louis metro area. So if you ever get a chance, go out and see the Girl Fight show. That will be, in Mount Vernon. It's only about 75 miles outside from downtown St. Louis, straight down 64 East. You can't miss it, and definitely a good time. So Ricky, man, definitely thank you for coming on here tonight and just kind of chatting with us. With your I guess reliving. I don't know if the word is not reliving, but kind of going through your entire career with us and your entire life, and apparently you and GQ are in proximity, close proximities with each other, and some other workers, and yeah, man. Apparently I'm not part of the cool kids. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. That's not. Yeah. Hey, he's
I
in
didn't know
Hollywood.
Ricky Cruz lived in Hollywood. Okay, cool.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's in Hollywood too, and you got a hut in Puerto Rico. It's called an outhouse. So, good for you there, GQ. But yeah, man. But thanks for doing this for us, Ricky. I mean, it's been a pleasure, and And also here, I wanted to just push here real quick before we go any further. We've already got our next guest lined up for next week for episode number 21. The American Outlaw, Tyler Bodine, will be with us, kind of reliving his career that he's gone through so far. He's got a good handful of years in, and he's actually traveled pretty well. Yeah, so it'll be kind of cool to talk with Tyler next week as our featured guest on the podcast. So awesome stuff. Well, Ricky, man, if I could get away from just hanging out at the seminar, or even trying to get something in, if I'm able to arrange my schedule, I definitely will try. If not, we're going to have to try to at least meet up again sometime soon. I know. Well, we've had an encounter earlier in the year. I was lucky enough to be in the ring with you, and of course I fell at the short end of the stick on that one. So, you made me run too much, so I had to fall. So, yeah. So, oh my goodness. I'm already getting challenged for promo face-offs here, so that ought to be fun here. But come to the seminar, learn promos. As far as the art of the promo, some basics in the ring, and some other aspects that are involved in the ring. Nothing but a full day of learning and something to gain knowledge by for the one and the only one of the greatest that this area has ever had to bring to the table in the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz. So, Ricky, once again, I thank you very much for indulging us here this evening, and definitely best of luck in that seminar, man. And nothing but more matches in years to come, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you can make it to the seminar. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very different. People are going to go like, wait, this is totally not what I was expecting. And that's what I actually want. But I truly appreciate you guys, giving me the time and speaking with me for a bit. And to all the fans support wrestling. Right now, we need you more than ever. If you are a fan of any type of wrestler, look for their gear, look for their merch, look for whatever they're doing to try to deal with this pandemic and help them out. At the end of the day, we are fathers, we are husbands, and we all need to find a way to get food to the table. So not only me, but all the wrestlers around, try to support them and help them in any way you can. With me, well, all my pages in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's Ricky Cruz STL. If you need anything, you can reach me there. And once again, Ruby and my friend, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and for inviting me. I have fun.
Awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, pleasure's been all ours, and we always love doing these for the guys that have actually put the time in and definitely get what this business is all about. And that's why we want to let people know about this. And even when things start opening up again in November, and even going into 2021, we will still have this podcast, and we still want to just let everybody know that we are here for the long haul. So once again, I appreciate you being here, Ricky. And with that being said, with a GQ still picture and me with a live picture, we have concluded another great episode here of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. This was episode number 20, and we thank you for all who have watched here tonight. Wherever you watched here across the country, we do appreciate it very much. We do appreciate the support. Don't forget, next week, Tyler Bodine will be our guest on episode number 21. Same bad time, same bad channel. And we will see you next week, guys. Have a great weekend. Don't forget about the seminar come the 24th. And we'll see you next week. Peace.